It is understandable that young Sheldon Season 7 has altered the story of the Big Bang Theory's prequel. But the show's biggest changes will all make George Kesher's upcoming death harder to handle. Like most sitcom spin-offs, young Sheldon has an uneasy relationship with the canon of its predecessor, The Big Bang Theory. Sheldon's family was the butt of a few occasional jokes in the original hit sitcom, whereas they are young Sheldon's entire cast of main characters. As such, it makes sense that young Sheldon turned Sheldon's father into a sweet everyman instead of the philandering drunk Sheldon described. Similarly, young Sheldon changing the Big Bang Theory's Mima into a free-spirited rebel allowed the show to have more fun with the character than her original, more sedate incarnation. However, the changes that the prequel made to the earlier show sometimes come at a cost to its established canon. Mima's arrest in Season 7, along with her home's destruction in young Sheldon's Season 6 finale, explains why she is so much less rebellious and carefree in The Big Bang Theory. This also makes her character arc pretty downbeat, thus proving that the original show's canon can hurt its prequel. Young Sheldon retconning George Esser's cheating makes this death sadder. George Esser's worst canon mistake was just a misunderstanding. Similarly, many of the understandable changes that young Sheldon Season 7 has made to the Cooper family's backstory make George Esser's upcoming death even sadder. George Esser will die before the end of young Sheldon Season 7 since The Big Bang Theory stated that Sheldon's father passed away in his early teens. This event was always going to be heartbreaking since young Sheldon's version of George Esser was a sweet, caring father, not the thoughtless lout described in the original series. However, Georgie moving out, Missy's continuing rebellion, and even Mima's surprisingly dark story all make this harder to handle. Young Sheldon Season 7's revelation that George Esser never cheated and Sheldon just misunderstood some role play between his parents makes George Esser even more sympathetic, thus making his upcoming death sadder. Admittedly, young Sheldon retconned one Big Bang Theory tragedy by revealing why Sheldon never attended his sister's wedding. But the same episode saw Mima get arrested when her illegal gambling room was raided. This left the newlywed Georgie without a job and meant that Mima was soon placed under house arrest, making the circumstances surrounding George Esser's tragic death even bleaker than they originally seemed. Young Sheldon changing Mima's character makes her story darker. Mima losing her business darkened young Sheldon's tone. In Season 7, Episode 8, An Ankle Monitor and a Big Plastic Crap House, Mima discovered that she would not only lose the proceeds of her gambling room, but also any access to her legitimate laundromat business while on trial. This means that the cash-strapped Mima has no way of rebuilding her home after it was destroyed by a tornado, while Georgie is now unemployed with a young baby to feed. Although Mima and Dale's young Sheldon relationship shone despite these dire events, there is no doubt that this is the most serious legal struggle Sheldon's grandmother has faced. This makes it all the more surprising that the event occurred shortly before George Esser's death. George Esser's death is guaranteed to be the saddest moment in the show's history, so adding more sad details to the preceding outings seems unnecessary. Mima's arrest could have occurred back in Season 6, when George Esser's death was much further away. This would have given Sheldon and his siblings some relaxed time with their father before his death, whereas the show's final episodes will now most likely be focused on Mima's legal quandary. George Esser and Sheldon's conversation highlighted this problem. Young Sheldon undoing Missy's growth hurt her George Esser relationship. Season 7 treats Missy's teenage rebellion as a joke. In An Ankle Monitor and a Big Plastic Crap House, George Esser impressed Sheldon by knowing who Vincent the Chin Gigante was, while Sheldon's plan for Mima's legal defense impressed his father. This scene was sweet, but their brief interaction was the only time that Sheldon spoke to his father in one of their final episodes together. Sheldon and George Esser's similarities ironically meant that the pair never really saw eye to eye, so it is devastating that their final days together are spent worrying about a court case. Missy's rebellion is an even more obvious case of this problem rearing its head.